G-Day, people! This is Sharpino here, welcoming you guys to week 5 of the PMC League Battles Wi-Fi Battle. Now, unfortunately, me and my opponent Dolphin here were having a little bit of problems with trying to arrange for a time to meet up to battle, which is kind of funny because we're both in Australia, and you would think that if you're versing someone from overseas, you would have troubles, but apparently we were just having way too many problems. So, unfortunately, this is a battle replay. It's not an actual actual Wi-Fi battle. You can actually see my reactions, my thoughts as I go along. So I do apologize about that, but we do have the Wi-Fi battle nonetheless. Now, I must preface this by saying we did have a communication error in this game, and we tried to recreate all the events up to this point in the game where we did have the communication error. But after that, though, it was the rest of the game and all that. So I'll let you guys know when the communication error stops. So just in case you guys had some queries or anything else, but I will commentate this as I was going along, and I'll explain to you guys what my thought processes were, because like I said, I wasn't home when I had to do this Wi-Fi battle, so I was kind of thinking on my feet with the notes and information I had. So let's go ahead and get this started. This is against the Red Spark Vikavolts. So, like I said, now, going up against this team here, I thought the best Pokemon to lead off with would be the Krookodiles, to go ahead and see and scout what kind of Pokemon he wanted to bring in first. So he decides to open up with the Krookodiles as we go ahead and bring in the Verd. Now I thought I'd go ahead and substitute and maybe start setting up some Carmines here, but he predicts that and goes for a Taunt. So, you know, that was kind of a good prediction on his part here, to go ahead and go for that Taunt. So we revealed that we do have substitutes. But this time now we decided to go for a Side Shock just to see what kind of damage we could do to this Krookodiles. He goes for an Air Slash, and that does just a little bit of damage, just about maybe 15%. As we go for the Side Shock, and it probably does just a little bit more, maybe about 20%. So, if anything, if we were to keep this back and forth exchange, we would actually have the better way. Now, I made a misplay here. I swapped into Tapu Koko, not remembering that my item was an air balloon, because it doesn't make sense why you would go ahead and swap in when you know you got an air balloon. You want to have it fresh and ready to go, you know? So, having forgotten that was my item, and he goes ahead and goes for a Revelation Dance, I take a pretty good amount of damage from this Revelation Dance, and unfortunately, I do lose the air balloon. So the whole thing behind my air balloon play has just gone out the window. So I predicted him to swap into Thunderous, which he actually does do as we go ahead and set up the Roost and try and get back a health back from that Revelation Dance, which you don't commonly see like a setup kind of build on Tapu Koko, which is actually, like I said, it's very interesting. Now, I quickly looked up, this thing does get access to Sludge Wave, so I went ahead and swapped into our special defensive check, which is the Snorlax. Pancakes, the Snorlax. So I actually get these guys' nicknames as well, as you guys can see. I'm not a big fan of nicknames of battles, but I did anyways. So he's going to go ahead and go for a Sludge Wave. Just remember, guys, this is all free creation at this point. We're all like, me and the opponent Dolphin, were actually conversing back and forth, trying to remember the moves that we did. So I decided to go for a Frustration here, seeing how much damage I could do to a Volt Strike here. But he brings in Cerevi, the Celesteela, and you watch how much this Frustration does to a Celesteela. Jack shit, that's what it does. So, we see that he's got leftovers as well, so we pretty much know this Cerevi here, this Celesteela, is going to be a wall and a half. So, we decided, we've tried to do some quick thinking here, think, okay, what does he want to do to us? Well, he could do Leak Seed. So I decided to swap back into Tapu Koko, expecting him to go for the Leak Seed, to which he does in fact go for the Leak Seed here. And unfortunately, well, he does get the Leak Seed, and we're going to see here that even with leftovers, he's going to be brought back to full health. So the Leak Seed was a good call for the Snorlax, because Snorlax versus Celesteela will not end well if you've got Toxic and Leak Seed. So the battleground disappears. Now I decided to go for a Carmine and see if I can try and set up on this Celesteela. But he does go ahead and swap back into the Thunderous, which is really annoying because basically I'm not free to do any electric type moves while he has this and while he has Garchomp. So I tried to set up a Carmine here, but I was like, I didn't know what the damage was going to be from a Sludge Wave to a Tapu Koko, so I decided just to play it safe and go ahead and swap back into the Snorlax, because I didn't want to risk anything, because especially if we're not 100%, I couldn't risk the fact the Sludge Wave would kill us at this range. So we go ahead and bring back in Pancakes, the Snorlax here, as he does in fact go for the Sludge Wave again. So at this point, we're just doing a lot of swapping, a lot of back and forth here, but at this point, there's not much we could really do here. So I go ahead and go for a Frustration on this Thunderous, as he does go ahead and goes for the Volt Switch, and he's going to go ahead and swap into his Garchomp. That's what he's going to do, his Barbatos. I like the nickname on that, actually. Barbatos is actually a good nickname. And we're going to see here that this Frustration does a little bit of damage, but not a great deal. So this is his physical wall Garchomp. Now, he does throw a little surprise attack on us, which I was a little bit thrown back by. Now, I would say this is a misplay, but I decided to go for a curse as he goes for the Brick Break. And I was just like, whoa, this guy prepped for this Snorlax right here. So you're going to see here, this curse is going to really not do much to us. So, honestly, you know, he could have gone for Brick Break, he could go for an Earthquake, but what I decided to do is, I decided to go ahead and swap into our Choice Scarf Pelipper, because I figured if he goes for Brick Break again, it doesn't do too much damage. If he goes for an Earthquake, we just got a free swap into to Pelipper. So we're going to see the Drizzle activate here, Beach Boy, Beach Boy! Beach Boy to Pelipper, oh yeah, Pelipper. He does go for the Brick Break again, and you're going to watch this is absolutely nothing to a Pelipper. But this Pelipper is, like I said, Choice Scarf, so we're going to go ahead and fire for an Ice Beam here, but he swaps out. Now, he swaps into Thunderous, which I think was a little bit... I was a bit dicey in this one. I was like, what were you expecting to hit from a Pelipper that would hurt the Garchomp but not the Thunderous? So we go for an Ice Beam, we do over half, and that pretty much confirms for me. He did get a freeze here, but this is all still part of the recreation, so it really didn't matter. It's a little glitch, I do apologize. But this freeze didn't change anything, because at this point, 2 Ice Beams did kill the Thunderous, either way. Because with Choice Scarf, we outspeed, we were going to get the kill on this Thunderous either way. So he does go ahead now and bring in the Oricorio, as we go ahead and swap back into Snorlax, expecting him to go for the Revelation Dance or an Air Slash. Because now we're going to see Tailwind. So now we know his moveset is Air Slash, Revelation Dance, Taunt, and Tailwind. So that's his 4 moves of this Oricorio. So what I figured, this is the last turn of the recreation. So he swapped out into Celesteela, and I went for Rest. I had more health at this point, but at this point, because we're recreating the situation, it didn't really matter. So from this turn forward, this whole turn after I rested with Snorlax, this is all new. So from this point forward, this was part of the new game now. So basically, I wish my coach the best of luck. But unfortunately, we had the DC, we had to do it up to this point as a recreation, but now this is all part of the game here. So what I decided to do is, he decides to swap out and bring in the Barbatos, the Garchomp, as I go ahead and bring in my Cresselia, because I was going to go ahead and sit in this Celesteela's face and just set up all day here. So all we've seen on this Garchomp so far is the Brick Break. So I don't know what kind of moveset it has, but I thought I would go ahead and see what he wants to do. So he does go for a Crunch, and that does about 70 damage, which is about, you know, I just wanted to scout, so I went from Moonlight to kind of see what move he wanted to do for us here. So we can clearly see that we would do a lot of the work against this Garchomp here as his Tailwind peters out. So I don't know what the Tailwind was meant to do, but he does go ahead and swap. He's going to bring in Gushin, which is his Fortress, which again, I don't know what he was hoping for. If he saw me go for Substitute before, I was like, why would you go into the Fortress if you know I'm going to go Substitute? So with that said though, he's going to go ahead now and try to set up some rocks on us, and we're going to get off our first turn of Calm Mind here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a long battle. As you can see on the bomb screen over here, yeah, over here, you see that's 40 turns long. Well, that's because my opponent here lets me set up with this Cresselia, and it gets pretty ugly. Let's just put it that way. For him anyways, it gets pretty ugly. So we are now at +1 special attack and special defense. So at this point, he's realizing, shit, it's a setup in Celestia. It's a setup in Cresselia. Fuck. And honestly, he did not prep for a setting up Cresselia, which is what, funny enough, the vet actually said, you know, this could work against his team if he doesn't bring anything that can kind of break your sweep. And sure enough, that's exactly what's happened. So Verd, I have to give you props. Like, honestly, Verd is such a great battle. He beat me 5-0 last week, and this is the evidence as to why he's so good. He comes up with these ideas that, okay, a novice like me would not know. I know I'm a novice, okay? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm the best at battling, but I suck at making teams. No, I'm just, once I saw the opportunity, I just went ahead and grabbed it. So once I saw him bring in this, which I thought was absolutely perfect for us, because he goes for Air Slash. Now, I know that Celestia does not have a lot of special attack, unless you make it really like special attack invested, but Celestelia does not have a lot of special attack in general. So once we got ahead, now I think we're at 3 or 4 Carmines. I'm not 100% sure, but long story short, there's nothing he can really do to this this Cresselia here, and I'm just sitting here like we're on cloud 9 over here. We've got ourselves a Cresselia behind the sub. He goes for substitute, and I thought that's interesting. So we're going to see the fact that now both of us have substitutes. So basically, it's a face-off here, but still, we're not losing this battle because either way, we're setting up. That Celestia can't do anything behind the sub. Unless he has some sort of setup move, which I'm pretty sure Celestia does get, but I don't think he had on him. Otherwise, he would have used it by now. So we've seen Leak Seed, Substitute, and we've seen Air Slash. So we've yet to see what his final move is at this point here. But he's going to try to go ahead and break the sub here, and honestly, he ain't doing jack shit. Honestly, this sub is just taking all of the damage here. So, you know, we're pretty much laughing at this point that we've managed to get this actual setup good to go. So we're just going to keep going for Carmines, here. And we're sweet. I think at this point, I think this turn or the next turn will be at maximum special attack, special defense. So this is pretty much bringing me back to when I was using Mega Sableye in Season 1. And against the Colorado Rapidashers, I actually managed to get a +6 Mega Sableye, and then I would lose the match because I got flinched by an Icicle Crash from a Weavile. And I'm like, life sucks. What the fuck? But this match here, like I said, okay, so now we're at maximum. We're going to go ahead and go for the Side Shock. See how much damage this can do to the substitute. Will it break the substitute? I'm pretty sure it was going to, but just to see how much damage this Celestia could take. And sure enough, it did fade the substitute. So, we're going to go ahead and see this Air Slash go off. Now, I think he was going to swap into something here because, like, at this point, he really wasn't going to do anything else. So, I think I did go for another Side Shock here. Yes, I did. Okay. So, I wanted to go ahead and see how much damage a Side Shock would do to a Celestelia at this range here. And we see that does a lot of damage, but my friends, that was a crit. So, I could not gauge how much damage a Celestelia was going to take from a Side Shock. But based off how much damage that just dished out, I can only assume it takes about roughly 40 to 45% based off that crit. So that crit took it to about 60-65%. So I predicted to swap into another Pokemon now that my substitute's gone. And sure enough, he does. He swaps into the Garchomp. What I'm assuming he was trying to do is just to try to go for the crunch plays and just try to get the kill on my Cresselia. And sure enough, that's what's happened. And the Garchomp actually goes down here. So I thought, fantastic. We're in the go. Now that there's no more immunities for Tapu Koko. So if we have to bring in Tapu Koko, we're good to go. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is where things get very, very interesting. He goes for Signal Beam. We can see it does nothing. And we're like, huh, what's this Milliwater going to do? Huh? We go for Side Shock. We should have gone for Substitute just to play it safe. Because after I did this move, I was like, hang on. What if this Milliwater gets Confusion on us? And I was just like, it's possible. Unlikely, but it's possible. So I decided this turn to go for a Substitute. He goes for another Signal Beam here. And guess what happens? Guess what happens? I get Confusion. I'm like, oh my god. If I lose this battle now, or if I lose this whole setup because of Confusion, oh, I'm going to be snapping some necks. And I hit myself with Confusion. I'm just like, oh no. Please let this not be the start of something that's going to make me end up on the why though moments. You know, I know Arky has a lot of fun poking fun at people, and I'm pretty sure one day, I mean, pretty soon, he'll probably get me for last week. I mean, last week I played atrocious. But we're going to go for another substitute here, and we are going to, you guessed it, land that Side Shock. But we didn't have some confusion, which is good. Now, I did not know what this Celestia wanted to do, because at this point we didn't know what his fourth move was. Like I said, we saw Air Slash, Sub, and Leak Seed. They were the three moves that we saw. So, possibly he could have gone for a Leak Seed just to try and get residual, but that wouldn't make sense. But he shows us what his last move is. We go for the Substitute, which is good. But he does in fact go for the Leak Seed, and yeah, we're just like, we're good, buddy, we're good. Honestly, we could have gone for another Side Shock and probably just ended it. But I just wanted to make sure we're behind the sub, just to make sure that we weren't going to get bullshitted by any means. So, I didn't get a bit of leftovers recovering. We're like, you know what? We're all sweet now. We'll just go for a side shot, finish off the Celestelia. He's got Protect. That's its final move. And I was like, wow. That crit that happened way back ago probably didn't matter as much, but I mean, if you want to argue PP at this point, it would have actually mattered, because if he Protect stored me on my Psyshocks, he could have probably whittled out the 16 Psyshocks that I had on me. I think at the end of the match I had like maybe 2 or 1 Psyshock left. So if I didn't get that crit, there was a chance he could have PP stalled me on the Psyshocks, which would have been absolutely hilarious. But if I would have lost this whole setup because I got PP stalled out by Celestelia, as you guys know, I hate stalls, so I would be like, oh my god. But then again, I'm playing stall right now, so I mean, I can't really talk. I mean, I'm pretty much doing what I tell people I hate. So I mean, like, it's setting up, it's not stalling exactly, it's just setting up for a big kill. But he's going to go ahead and go for an air slash here. As you can see, we're plus 60 special defense. It ain't going to break shit. We're going to go ahead and go for a side shock here. Kill this Oricorio with 1 hit. No surprise there. And this Oricorio is going to go down. Really would have liked to see what it could have done, because like its moveset was pretty diverse with air slash, tailwind, revelation dance, and taunt. The taunt was actually a good tech. I actually do like that. Now he's going to go ahead and bring in this bloody fortress. That's what he's going to bring, the fortress. And even a plus 6, that's how much damage it does to a fortress. Now, I was going to say, if he had Protect on fortress, he could have possibly worked his way out of the situation, because look at how much damage that Psyshock did at plus 6, and he's got leftovers as well. He could have easily stalled us out. Easily. But I'm assuming the set he had on his fortress was Rapid Spin, Gyro Ball, Stealth Rock, and maybe Spikes? Or Explosion. That was the only thing I could think of. But man, yeah, Fortress, bro, don't mess with the Fortress. Fortress will destroy your life. And as we can see, the only move offensively he has is Rapid Spin, but it's not going to do anything. I mean, behind sub or anything else, it's just not going to do anything at all. So, we almost lost our Cresselia setup to a confusion, which, again, I would have been so livid about, but it was my punishment for not using Substitute the first chance I got. So, at this point, all he has left is the Meloetta. So, we actually get ourselves a 6-0 sweep. And this is the first time I've ever 6-0'd anyone. I've never, ever 6-0'd anyone. I've been 5-0, but I've never 6-0'd anyone. I think the best victory I had was like 4-0, and that was against J-Specs in Season 2. That was the best victory I had. I'm pretty sure that was 5-0 on the Misty Drapions, but I can't remember. But either way, we get ourselves at 6-0 here, and I'm just absolutely, I'm happy with that. I'll be damn happy with that. Because like I said, I've never 6-0'd anyone before in my life, so to have a 6-0 happen in front of me, and me being the driving force behind it, oh, it feels so good. Like, I almost got 6-0 last week, but I managed to kill the Hydreigon with the Icicle Crash and save myself from being 6-0'd. The good news is, this is going to drag our differential from the negative into the positive, so I'm very thankful for that. Unfortunately, Dolphin, that was a good game. Really unfortunately, he didn't have an answer for Sab Cresselia, but all in all, it was a good game. I mean, he can always learn from this. Like, look, you can't call it a bad experience if you learn from it and don't make the same mistake again, which, I mean, you would think if I lost to Verd again, you'd think, oh, Chris, wouldn't you learn better? It's like, well, Verd's just too good. Like, honestly, he was Season 2 champ for a reason, you know? He's just such a good battler. So, good game to Dolphin, Red Spark Vikavolts. Next week, we take on the New York Cosmogs, led by Phantombass, Coach Tyler. So, stay tuned for the team builder next week. And, yeah, Cresselia. So until next time, I'll see you guys. Stay safe, stay sharp, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Later.